morning, everybody. I want to say first off, good morning to everybody here in Memphis, where I am located. My name is Amicia Ramsey. You're watching the Black Mental Health Matters weekly digital show. And we are having a really good discussion this morning. Wherever you are in the world, we want to make sure that you drop a comment and just let us know how you feel. So today we're talking about understanding relationships between Black men and Black women. A very loaded conversation, but I have a very, very special guest I want to introduce you all to, Dr. Alduan Tartt. Without further ado, let me introduce our special guest, Dr. Tartt. How are you?
Hey, what's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Let's do it.
Yes, so exciting. For those who don't know about Dr. Tartt, just tell them a little bit about yourself. I mean, he is a jack of all trades, especially when it comes to psychology, relationships with men, women, and families.
I'm a Christian psychologist, which means that I'm cross-trained as a minister and as a psychologist. So I've been a psychologist for 21 years, a minister for 4, and my specialty is children, family, and relationships. And we start talking about how to make marriage work, how to make relationships work. It is what I love to do, and I give all honor and glory to God. So I appreciate you having me on today.
Absolutely. Starting off on a really good and positive note, tell us just a little bit. I mean, you're located in Atlanta. A lot of our viewers are across the globe for the Global Pan-Africanist Network. I mean, we have people from Nairobi, Kenya, all over the place. When it comes to relationships, they're complicated, regardless of where you are around the country or around the world.
Of course, and they should be. We have to relate to another person. That means that we can't take the person who we are into a relationship. It has to be about both of us. So that means that I have to do a little dancing with you. I have to change my personality based on what you like. So if you like to go out and I like to stay in, I'm going to have to do half of that, or go and come back early. I'm going to have to do something like that. So yeah, relationship skills. We think about business skills. We think about money skills. We think about parenting skills. But you have to have skills to make a relationship work.
You do. And not everybody necessarily has those skills per se, but can you learn those skills is one of the questions that I think a lot of people might want to know.
I'm going to be honest. Not all people are created equal. You know, some people can. Some people have so much baggage from their past, so much resistance to not being selfish, or so much resistance to change that it makes it difficult to be partners with them. And there are others who absolutely can learn. People that come to the table knowing how to compromise. There are people that come to the table ready to apologize first, ready to talk about different gender roles, you know. And so whatever I need to be for you without erasing me, I'm open to it. So there are people that come into it ready, and others who are willing to learn, willing to go to counseling, willing to learn from older men and women, or I could say older, really wiser, because you can be great at relationships and be young and adapt. It's not about being perfect. It's about making perfect adjustments.
Now, Dr. Tartt, you mentioned something called gender roles, and I mentioned a little bit earlier. I want to let folks know about a book that I read, and I want to just kind of bring it up really quickly. Okay. If I can find it. I have the book right here. If you guys can see, it's by Hill Harper. It's called The Conversation: How Men and Women Can Build Loving and Trusting Relationships. I'm going to just pop that up on the screen really quickly for folks to see, and also just remove this banner. This conversation has a lot of stereotypes that Black men and Black women are just people in general relationships, and kind of just put labels on people. And Dr. Tartt, I want to break a few of those down really quickly and just get your thoughts on them. Okay. One of the questions he asked men and women from all over the place, right? In relationships. This first question is, women use pregnancy to trap men. This guy said, I love my daughter. I think her mother thought getting pregnant would guarantee that I'd marry her. Having a baby would give her something that loved her unconditionally. What do you think about that? Is that what men think? A stereotype
That's what dysfunctional men think. So when we start talking about men, you have to define the man. There are a lot of men that get offended when they get put in a box of all men cheat, all men can't settle down, all men can't compromise, all men lose their temper, all men can't handle a woman who's doing extremely well, maybe even making more money than him. The men get offended with that. Men are like, sign me up for that. If I'm secure in what I'm doing, and my sweetheart out here is doing her thing, then we can combine that and we can build wealth and we can contribute to the community and build it up even faster. That's what a lot of men are looking for. So when you start talking about being trapped into pregnancy, that's some little boy stuff. That's a boy. That's not a man. No disrespect, because we all have areas of growth, but you can't waste your time on a boy when you can have a grown man who's wanting to provide for his family, who's wanting to be a lead. He was born to lead his family. So you have to be careful which man you're talking to.
So when we're talking about provision, and there is a woman's side to it as well, I want to pop this up because we talked about being.
I can tell you setting me up. I already see from the smile.
I did. So a lot of women say men are sexist and misogynist. Okay, this quote by a woman said, even if I have more education than them, making more money than them, black men still treat you like you're inferior.
All right, I want to meet people where they are. I think that this is an issue. Because most men see themselves as providers. So when we look at it, we say, okay, if I'm not providing for the marriage, if I'm not taking care of you in some shape, form, or fashion, we get insecure. Like, what is my role? What is my role in the relationship? If you can pay all of the bills and save for retirement and do all these things without me, there are a lot of men not only that feel insecure about that, because our security is, and we want our wives to say, daddy, make sure, man, make sure that I don't want for anything. And so another man, it takes away what we consider our primary role in the relationship, protector and provider. And so if I'm not providing for you, don't need me to provide, then that can create a problem. But the way around that is to be able to have a conversation, and to be able to have a conversation with men who are totally okay and in love with their wives. They're not there for an income level. They're not there to limit her, to shrink her, to be smaller than him. They want her to stand up. See, a king doesn't need to suppress his queen. Whatever she's doing, he's there. Look at still my president, Barack Obama. All right. Still look at Barack Obama. His wife is a best-selling author. He's cool sitting in the audience clapping. Some people listening right now, they're queens. They're CEOs of companies. Their husbands are happy going and shaking hands and saying, yeah, that's my wife. My wife is the president of this company. And they're happy that they can support her. So when you date, when you marry, you need to find a man who is secure, not only in himself, but also secure and willing to support you as you grow. He wants you to grow. Why would a man want you to be in a marriage and either stay stagnant or shrink? No, real men want you to grow and support without feeling insecure. And if we have a problem with our money, we'll just level up. We're gonna be like, my queen is getting it. I need to pray. I need to get some new business systems. I need to step outside the box, and I need to level up so that I'm able to join her, maybe even surpass her in being able to produce revenue. We just take turns building wealth.
Absolutely. And then Dr. Tartt, I know that you have counseled many people, and in this conversation around finances in relationships, I mean, a lot of marriages end in divorce because of finances. How do you have a conversation with someone that you're dating or interested in, if that money is looking funny, but you have an interest in someone, and if she does have a career and she's doing her thing and she got a book deal and all these things, has all the wifey qualities, how do you step up to her as a man and let her know that, hey, it might be Chick-fil-A and not Ruth Chris?
Oh my goodness, that's funny. We don't have to get up with the Ruth Chris, you know what I'm saying? We can cook at home. So yeah, so I think the key is being secure in who you are. And remember, the marriage is not based on money. There's so many couples who have money issues. I think that's more the norm, because you're going to be up, you're going to be down. Look, we're coming out of prayerfully a pandemic that affected a lot of people. You can't do anything about that if your company wants to downsize, or if something has shifted, and you're going to have to take some time to shift with it. That's not what breaks couples up. What breaks couples up is dishonesty. What breaks couples up is disconnection. So it's not the money, it's the betrayal or not being open about what's going on with the money, or your issues about not making money. See, if my money's not right, I have to make sure that I'm doing the right things, Amicia, to make sure that I don't take that out on my wife. I don't take that out on my kids. Now, I don't know a single man who's happy when his money's not right. I don't know how to do that. All right. But what we have to do is make sure that I'm not taking my stress out on my family. I have to go get with some brothers and sisters, have a mastermind group, figure out how to reset, go into the savings or the emergency fund if we're blessed enough to have it. And then just be able to say, listen, God has me in a reset period. I have to be the same man, whether I'm up or down. I have to be consistent. And that's the gold standard for us.
Now, I want to just talk about, we mentioned the category of money, and having financial literacy is also really important. One of the questions or comments was that men don't take financial responsibility. You did talk about accountability. This quote says his credit was so bad that he couldn't buy a house together for years. Truth be told, mine wasn't great either. So she's admitting as well that her credit was not great, and they struggle to buy a house. And we know that having a house is one of the greatest assets you can have.
Absolutely. It says in the Bible, Ecclesiastes 4:9, 2 is better than 1, for they get better return for their labor. All right. And so this is not Housewives of Atlanta where everyone has to come in rich. If you're willing to be noble and you're willing to be wise and you're willing to learn, we can go together and we can figure out, how do we get our credit up? What do we need to do? Do we need to pay off our balances below 30% versus trying to pay off one? It's better just to pay all of them off to 29%. That's going to boost your credit better than paying off one. And then the other one, your credit usage is 50% of what you borrowed. And so we're willing to sit down. This is the thing that people are talking about. Are you willing to sit down, brother and sister, in a class? Are you willing to have someone who's wiser than you sit down with you, another couple, someone you respect, whose money game is tight and proper, to educate you? And are we willing to do this together? So like you said, I can't be eating at Ruth Chris and then have my lady eat at Chick-fil-A, or I can't say, all right, we really the spending in and she's out buying some new boots and I'm wearing the same pair of shoes. We have to go in this together and figure out what we're going to do. One of the things I told my wife when we got married, I said, look, my goal is to live off of one income. All right. Let's live off of my income. And then whatever you bring in is our future or our investment money, our vacation money, whatever. Let's base this off of my income. And then whatever you do, that goes towards our retirement or that goes towards building wealth, taking advantage of real estate. And a lot of people have never been introduced to that concept. That's something that a mentor brought to me. And it made me start thinking differently about money, because now the both of us can work. You see what I'm saying? So and we know what's hot. So if crypto comes on the scene or someone comes to you and say, hey, you need to invest in this company called Coinbase or Zoom or Uber or Lyft, we can jump on that because it's not hurting the bills and we can go for it. Now, I know a lot of couples are saying that's hard, but if you have that mindset of do that, that's how we build wealth. It might just be live off 1.5 income, 1.75, all of mine is 75% of yours and save the 25%. So when we sit down and we learn, we can get better. It's not where you start. It's where you are and where you finish.
Absolutely. I hope everyone is listening to these nuggets that Dr. Tartt is dropping. I mean, I didn't even think about that philosophy as well. Here's a question for folks to put in the comment section. Just what are some stereotypes and relationships that you know about? I'm going to bring up another banner because Dr. Tartt just hit the nail right on the head when we talked about working the household. One of the misconceptions or stereotypes that women may have about men are lazy. They expect Black women to do it all, raise a family, work a full-time job, and do all the house chores. Tell me, and you have a background in ministry. One of the words these days that a lot of women don't like to hear is submission as well. Let's talk a little bit about that, Dr. Tartt.
All right. Well, if we're talking about submission, a lot of people think slavery or they think a lack of power. All right. And so instead of aren't we all submitted to Christ? All right. So we don't sit around saying that we're God or that we're Jesus or that you should worship us unless you're crazy Donald Trump or something like that. We all submit to God. And so if we talk about the Bible, God does make man the leader of the house, but your woman should never, ever feel oppressed. All right. And leader doesn't mean that you go first. Sometimes lead means that you fall back and let your wife handle the deal. Listen, my wife understands real estate better than I do. I don't even go to the closing. I don't manage the property. I don't know anything about it. It's not my strength. So sometimes as a leader, it means knowing when to be able to fall back. It means when to apologize first. If you're a leader, you as a man, you have to know when to break the silence. You have to be the first one to go in prayer. You have to be the first one to say, hey, it's time for us to fast. You have to be the first one to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should change my attitude. I'll be able to get myself some counseling. So when we start talking about leadership, I have not met a woman that has any problem following a man who takes care of her needs and does not oppress her. All right. So they don't mind. So we don't mind leadership at work if they let you do what you need to do. And sometimes that means you step up and tell them what to do. So if you're at work and the leader asks you, what should we do? And they say, all right, Amicia, you take point on this one. This is your strength. We trust you. Tell me what you need me to do to support you. You know, now, as far as the domestic piece, this is where I'm going to have to keep it real. All right. All right. There was a book called His Needs, Her Needs, and they looked at the top 5 needs of men in relationships. Number 4 was a woman who knows how to keep home, how domestic she is. So what that means is we're talking about a wife. That means, does she know how to keep home? That doesn't necessarily mean that she's a maid, that she's a chef, that she picks up behind us. But it means that, do you know how to make sure that the kids are on time for school? Do you know how to make sure that we're able to have an event for the family? Do you know how to, in a pandemic, make sure the kids are getting tutored? Can you bring our kids up in a biblical household? Or do I have to talk to you about cursing around the kids? Mm-hmm. So men have different definitions of that. And let's talk about, alpha women. Let's talk about busy women. Yeah. I'm not ashamed to say we have someone that comes and does a deep clean in our house sometimes, because we want more quality time. So that means I don't feel like cleaning up. If I'm off, I don't feel like cleaning up all the time. My wife doesn't feel like cleaning up. And, we have 2 daughters and one of them is in travel volleyball. So I could be in any given state on any given weekend. You think I want to spend my quality time with my wife cleaning up? So if we can afford it and we're blessed to be able to provide income for someone else to come in. Now, everyone doesn't have that. Other times we've had to just go half on the labor. Right. All right. And my wife calls it chore play. She's like, babe, if you help me out with these chores, we can play a little bit later. I was like, say less. What am I cooking? Give me the recipe. Where the clothes? What am I folding? I'm folding with a smile. You know what I'm saying? So you have to sit down because we don't have traditional gender roles, right? So women are out there in the workplace killing it, sometimes working longer hours than we are. So why would we have her come in and cook? If she worked a 12-hour day and I worked a 10, hey, I'm going to cook or I'm going to order food in, or I'm going to call my mama, say, mama, drop off a meal, do something. I can order from a restaurant. I can pick up something so we can have quality time. It's really about what works for your partner.
Absolutely. So I want to pull up some of the comments in the comment section. They're going a little bit crazy. They absolutely love this conversation because they believe it's a essential perspective of having both male and female perspective as well. But one of the questions here is when you talked about those skills, family organization skills and budgeting, does she know this? Is this a principle that you can kind of teach your woman, even if she doesn't really have all the foundation?
Yeah, you better have a budget. You better have a budget so that you know where you're going. And that's all income. So that means if you're struggling for money, you can't afford for money to go the wrong direction, a bill to get cut off. Or if you are right in the middle and you're trying to figure out, how do we save? What is our strategy on where we spend our money? Where do we tithe? Where do we build? What's our philosophy on money? And then to address Daniel on a higher level, the highest level is, what are we trying to do together? How are we building legacy? All right. How does our money make money? Why do we have $10,000 sitting in the bank unless it's emergency funds? If that's not emergency funds, we need to have that 10,000 trying to make 10,000 more. And so that means sitting down with your sweetheart, sitting down with your better half and saying, what are we doing? Are we investing in crypto? Are we investing in real estate? Are we going to stack our money and try and get a franchise? What is our philosophy as a unit on what we're going to do to build wealth? We have to be on the same team. All right. So if we're not spending, we're not spending. If we're going into the realm of belief and multiplying our money, scared money doesn't make money. We're going to pray about this and we're going to do it scared because we're not going to sit around and not have our money make money for us. We just know better than that. So we're going to go for it. So that's husband and wife sitting down and talking and coming up with one plan.
Absolutely. Y'all, hashtag building wealth. As you see that it takes communication, sitting down with your spouse, and saying, hey, we need to put these things together. And starting off, you might have to start off small, but having a plan will ultimately lead you, I believe, to a better and brighter future, hopefully, if you know how to communicate these skills. Now we're mentioning more of these different stereotypes between men and women. I want to pull up another question as we're transitioning a little bit from the financial, but just characteristics that some men might think that this alpha woman that you're talking about, she might be that quote unquote angry. Women are angry. So this brother says, I just wanted to be with a woman who knows how to have a good time without tripping over every single thing. Some women are perfectionists.
Yeah.
They are. If you're a busy woman and you like to be on
That's not gender specific. There are men who are angry too. You know, it's but we're really talking about his energy. I don't want to go on a date and you complain the whole time. Sister, you could have stayed home. You know what I mean? Brother, you could have stayed home. I don't need bad energy. I just left work. I had to deal with all that crap. When we're out, let's enjoy each other's company. And really what we're talking about is optimism. So the best spouse is someone who's optimistic and positive. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have their moods. It doesn't mean that they don't have the normal realm of emotions. But the best partner is someone who can see the glass is half full, is a believer in faith and say, hey, babe, I know you lost your job, and maybe this is the time for you to really go hard and owning your own business. We have some funds stacked up, or maybe we don't. We're going to pray to God about this, and you're going to be entrepreneur of the year. All right. Now, she's also waking that brother up at 5 o'clock in the morning saying, hey, it's time to get to the money. You know what I'm saying? Fixing that brother a breakfast. Like, look, these bills not going to pay themselves. That man likes that woman. When I talk to married men, I say, what was it about your wife that made her the one? And I can't tell you how many times, Amicia, they say, when I was down, she believed in the king in me. And she set a standard that I be with the king, that I be the king. So she didn't say, it wasn't just blind faith. It was like, look, I need you to man up. Well, you're not man up. You're already that guy, but I need you to be the king that God created you to be. And I need you to go get that money. I need you to walk in faith. I need you to lead this family. I need you to take the kids to school. If you're out of work or before work, whatever it is. So that's what it's really about. You know, just make sure that before you get in a relationship, or even if you're in a relationship and you're depressed, you're angry, you're frustrated. I was mad last night. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if you saw my Instagram. I was in the gym. I was at the gym last night. All right. And I brought all that energy home. Yes, I did. You know what I'm saying? I brought all that energy home. I worked out all the frustration in the gym. I hurt those weights, boy. In my mind, I hurt those weights. And when I came back home, I was more even tempered because I had a stressful week.
Wow. So is that something that men can do if you have, you know, some, whatever that emotion, because you said keeping that energy and not taking out your family or your wife, you had an outlet such as going to the gym. Can men and both women find an outlet to release? You better. You need to bring the best partner home, right? So bring the best partner home. So if you know that you're not in a good place, all right, you need to go ahead and say, this is time for me to get counseling. This is time to talk to my spiritual leader. This is time for me to do yoga and meditation. This is time for me to get, I'm big on massages. You know, that's the number one thing I know to decompress me. You know, I know we have to be careful in COVID though. So, you know, I'm gonna go get a massage, or maybe I just need some time for myself. Every man needs time in his bat cave. I just need time to be a man. I'm not Dr. Tartt. I'm not daddy. I'm not your husband. Let me watch the game. Let me play golf. Let me read a book. Let me just chill, have fun, and do me. And then that way, when I come home, it's a better me. I'm easier to deal with. And women, of course, need to do the same thing. I think it's going to depend on what your personal interests are. I think sometimes in relationships, if you get a little bit lost and you kind of forget what you really enjoyed previously before, maybe it was having that spa day or reading, or, you know, a lot of people like to travel. So, I mean, what do you think about that? Would you be okay with your wife saying, babe, I need to go on a little staycation. I need to get away. Can you take care of the kids?
You said, am I okay with that? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Bye. You know, listen, people need time by themselves. You know, men will tell you, now I can walk around the house with my drawers on. I can throw stuff on the ground. As long as I pick it up before she gets back. I can be the king of my castle, you know, without feedback. I can do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? And she needs the same thing. Married couples will tell you, you know, you need time to miss your spouse. So yes, she can have that trip, and I can have that trip as well, you know. So she was out last night. While I was at the gym, She was out. So we need that time so that when we come back together, we miss each other that way. And then here's the interesting thing on that list. Number 2 for men is that they want their wife to be their recreational companion more now than ever. So before it was like men want to kind of go off and do their own thing, and men still do. Don't get me wrong. I know men on here like, whoa, brother, I do not want my wife hanging with me all the time. All right. And the wife is shaking her head the same way. No, but what we're finding with the new research with modern day couples or couples in modern day times is that they're okay with their spouse doing some things they enjoy together. So come play golf with me, go to the sporting event with me. Hey, let's go eat together. Let's go do different things together that we enjoy. I want you to share some of my world, some of the things that I enjoy together so we can have fun. But I also want the space to do what I need to do in the marriage.
I like how you said you kind of like being individuals, but when we come back together, you're your best spouse. And then that unity is still circulating, or that relationship is still there. Even though you're 2 individuals, you still have that unity aspect. All right. So Dr. Tartt, I know we have about 5 minutes. I want to throw out just a few quick questions concerning these relationships. But why do you think that some Black women say Black men do not support Black women? I've seen that before.
Yeah. All right. I think a couple reasons. One, there are some women who have not seen a positive man. And so they make the stereotype that all men are bad. No, the 3 dudes you dated were bad. OK, that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with my brothers listening right now. I'm sorry he hurt you. I didn't hurt you. I'm not going to make you pay all the bills. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be open and honest. I'm going to be okay with you making a lot of money. I'm going to clap. I'm going to read the book you tell me to read. If you tell me I need to level up and learn how to communicate, I'm going to go to counseling. So one, our perception is reality. So there are a lot of women who've been hurt, and our pain, we make our past pain our future pain. All right. And then the reality is, in some relationships, people are not supported. Men don't support women. Women don't support men. That's why before you go into a marriage, you need to make sure that they're supportive, that they're good at being a compromiser. It's not all about me. Right. It has to be. These are the things that are core to me, Amicia. These are the things I'm not going to not do sporting events. I've been doing sporting events my whole life. I'm not going to cancel that just because we have another child. But what I am willing to do is to be able to relieve you when you need time. Mm-hmm. Or if you don't care who relieves you, I can call my mama or any of my cousins who love babies. And if they come in to relieve you, does that count for me? All right. If she says yes, yes. If she says no, then I'm going to have to, do what I need to do. So we compromise together to support one another. And then third reasons, I think a lot of people stay in a relationship when they should just move on. Now, of course, that's different in a marriage. So I'm going to break this down in a minute. If you're dating and that person's not good at doing relationships, before you get too far in, keep it moving. Keep it moving. Go on to the next brother, the next sister who's willing to compromise. And if you're married, obviously it doesn't work that way where you can just leave, even though I do support people leaving in abusive situations, leaving in toxic situations, or where they're just not willing to try. No one needs to die in a marriage. That's not a godly marriage. OK, but if we need to make adjustments, sit down and say, all right, we need to make some adjustments. Let's do what we need to do so that we can have a better marriage with one another. I tell a lot of couples, your first marriage is dead. Your second marriage to one another, that's the one you can believe in. So get rid of the infidelity, get rid of the selfishness, get rid of the depression, get rid of whatever toxic communication you have. And let's go into our second marriage a lot better together with the same person.
This is some good stuff. Our comment section is just blowing up. Dr. Tartt, they can't get enough of this. But we have about a minute because we have to wrap up. But if you, Dr. Tartt, wanted to just say anything else that you think is important that we haven't brought up right now, I'm just going to plug your socials where people can also find you. You can follow Dr. Tartt on Instagram at Dr. Tartt. You can also follow him there on Twitter. He has he has a YouTube page, has garnered over 1.5 million views. I've watched them myself. They've been so helpful. I mean, you just break it all down for us.
Hey, glory be to God. I want to take whatever God has put in me and give it to the people. They give it back to me. I'm getting energy from this. So yeah, follow me on Instagram or check out my website at Dr. Tartt. We have a couples marriage retreat coming up in August. We have people coming from over 23 different cities here in the United States. I think one couple coming from out of the country. It is August 27th to the 29th. So check that out at aweekendforlove.com, aweekendforlove.com. We also do a marital class for couples who want to have an amazing marriage, not an average marriage. So check that out at betterhusbandbetterwife.com. But if I'll leave a nugget, if it's one thing that we can learn when it comes to manhood in marriage, is that we have to control our tempers. All right. Our tone is everything. Sometimes we think that we're not being loud, but if our spouse feels that we're loud, we're loud. So we have to learn what's called emotion tolerance. So that means the ability to handle your wife's emotion without you spilling over. All right. So you come at me a certain way, Amicia, and you know how you are. You know you're feisty. We're friends. All right. If in a marriage, I have to be strong enough to be able to carry your emotion without making you feel threatened, without my temper getting the best of me, even if I have to release myself from the situation. All right. And that's not a manhood thing that we were actually taught. We were kind of taught, like, who are you talking to like that? You're not going to disrespect me. We get louder, but a more alpha man is able to say, hey, you know what? You need to relax. There's a certain tone. There's a way you can express yourself to me that's allowed in this household. You can say what you need to say if it's said respectfully. I want my woman to be direct. I want my queen to give me feedback. You have freedom to express yourself. But if you start yelling and screaming and get to the point of disrespect, this conversation is over. And then my queens out there, you have to make sure that you open up your mouth and communicate to your man in a respectful way. Keep it direct, but don't lose your voice. We need to hear what you like. We need to hear what you don't like. When you keep it inside, we think you're cool. And then, and then 3 years later, you say, I haven't been happy what I love making in 3 years. Hey, what? What we been doing? That's a lie, Tell us up front, but say it in a direct way. Say it real time. Hey, babe, we need to talk about parenting. We need to talk about finances. We need to talk about lovemaking. We need to talk about your mom coming over. Tell us directly. We can handle it, but just do it with a tone that helps us to receive it, and also do it in a way that's straight up and direct. We can take the direct approach. Most husbands say, nah, babe, communicate with me. Tell me how you feel. I just don't want to be surprised later. Tell me real time so I can decide whether to agree or disagree, but don't tell me something 6 months later and you tell me for the first time when I could have corrected it. Tell me right now.
Look, I have so many comments about that for myself. And I think some men, they can't handle the truth or being direct, because I am very direct with men, and it hurts feelings. It changes perceptions, and it makes the relationship. I feel like they want to live on a cloud that's unrealistic.
Yeah. Well, you have to do it soft. You have to be soft hard. You have to be soft hard. So you say something like this, hey, baby, I love you. I care for you. You're my king. You make sure that we're protected. I know if someone were to break into the house, I wouldn't have to get out the bed. You go take care of that. You're a stand-up guy. I just need you to be able to set some boundaries with mom. So when mom comes over every day, our mom calls and you pick up and we're in the middle of dinner, that's something that I don't like. So, babe, I need you to hear me on this. And I'm not telling you not to take care of mom. I want you to support mom. I love mom too. That's my mom too. But if you could make us a priority, this marriage a priority, and then be able to take care of mom, I'm cool. Can you handle that, king? See, every man is cool with being checked that way. And we have to do the same thing with you. We have to start with appreciation, start with what you do well. Say, girl, you're looking good today. You take care of the kid. You fine. You make sure you came home later than me and still prepared a meal and still let me get the big piece of chicken. You did that. You put that on my plate. You didn't put that on the kid's plate. You gave me the big piece of chicken. Yes, you did. And we made love like stars last night, However, I do need you to stop opening up about our relationship to your family and to your friends, because it makes it very awkward at family outings and they look at me funny. Let's keep some stuff in the household. Can you do that for me, babe? So that's what he said. Doc said respectful communication. That's what it's all about. Talking to your spouse as if he or she is the other part of you. So it's soft and direct. Don't beat around the bush. Be soft. Tell me what I do well, and then tell me what you need me to correct. And if I am mature, I am thankful that you keep it real with me, because I'd rather you tell me than me find out some other way, or you'd be passive aggressive and our relationship fall apart. Just keep it real.
Absolutely. That tone is so important. And maturity and growth. Yes, this has been one of the best conversations I've had in a long while. I know you guys love Dr. Tartt. Just follow him on all his social media platforms. His couples, couples retreat that's coming up, and you also have your website. So I'm gonna have to have him back on the show. What do you think?
Let's do it. I'm ready. We could do more time. I'm with it. And Amicia, you make this easy. We've done a lot of interviews. You make it easy. You're a shining light. So thank you for what you're doing and elevating the platform and telling the truth to the people. And thanks on all the new things coming for you. Yeah. I know sisters elevating y'all. So elevate. So thank you for having me, and God bless, and thanks, and God be the glory.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. See you again.